Yeah, I can.
Right, so Keir Starmer kept talking about the special relationship in action, and I was wondering if you thought whether the UK is doing enough.
Well, let's just squash any idea of a special relationship. It does not exist. It is a complete fantasy. America does what America wants to do, and Britain's got to look after its interests. And any relationship with America has got to be based on self-interest. So that's the first point. I think the second point I'd make is that Britain shooting down drones, Britain engaged in offensive or defensive operations is invidious, frankly. The fact is that if Britain is involved, our hand is in the bangle. And the so what out of that is that we should not in any way, shape or form be involved with the Americans closely, because they are being led by a couple of gung-ho nutters like Trump and Hegseth, without a proper strategy, without serious thought about what the end state for this war is. And unless we keep cool heads, as the Prime Minister is attempting to do, and think things through very, very carefully, this thing could go the way of Iraq, as your previous speaker, the former ambassador US ambassador in Bahrain, made very clearly in your earlier interview.
That's interesting you say that. What is your major worry about the way that this is being conducted then?
Well, yet again, we have an American president who has gone to war, a war of choice, a war of hubris, frankly, without any clear idea of how the war ends, without any clear strategy. And as the Chinese philosopher, master of war, strategist Sun Tzu said, 2,500 years ago, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. So the Americans might be getting frightfully excited about sinking submarines and X number of missions, bombing the Iranians to bits. But unless there's a strategy, unless they've thought through the impact of what they are doing on the minds of the Iranian people, this thing is going to go south very, very quickly. And I'll give you a good example. The idea of of assassinating the Ayatollah Khamenei, who was not just Iran's head of state, but he was the religious symbol for Shiites worldwide. Assassinating him during the month of Ramadan, frankly, is about as subtle as murdering the Pope on the steps of St. Peter's in Holy Week. It will inflame the Shiite world. And what you're doing by doing that is probably pushing large numbers of Iranians who might have been reconcilable, who might have thought about rising up, back into the folds of the irreconcilable.